Hi, it is Sunday and it is time for my mental health vlog. And if you're looking for the one from last week, there wasn't one because I I got engaged on Sunday night. It was our 3-year dating anniversary, and we had a really nice dinner planned. And of course, I was going to do my vlog when I got home, um, but my boyfriend had other plans. He had gotten rings and arranged for a guitarist to play our song, and there were like 40 of our friends and family that were there, including some folks from out of town. So the entire night just turned into a big party after that, honestly. It was quite the surprise. Yeah, for those of you that may or may not know, I'm still technically married to my ex because it's been a very, very long, drawn out divorce. And he always said that he wasn't going to propose until the divorce was finalized. Like, I knew he was going to propose eventually. I just, it was going to be after the divorce was finalized. So this kind of caught me off guard. And he told me he was tired of letting someone else dictate our timeline, which makes total sense. I get it. So it was a beautiful surprise, and I was very, very overwhelmed. And then as I'm panning through this crowd of friends and family, I lock eyes with my first girlfriend, my only girlfriend, honestly, ever. And she and I have been friends since I was in 7th grade. And I haven't seen her in over 15 years. And for those of you that have a copy or saw the book, The Elephant Above Us, she is actually the illustrator of my book. And she is just a fantastic person. So to just see her in the audience, it's funny because there's video of me being very happy and emotional during the proposal, and then looking out and realizing she's there, and then screaming, handing the ring box back to my fiance, being like, "Hold on 1 second." And then I ran out to see her and give her a huge hug, and it was so wonderful seeing her and spending time with her, because it was just like, I can't imagine my life without having her in it. So just being close to her was awesome. And the fact that she came out was great. I had another friend that came out from Seattle to see this, and it was just gobsmacked. I mean, it was completely, and it's so hard to pull things over on me. I am super observant, and I'm like, a Scooby-Doo sleuth about things, but this just, I was so dead set on the fact that he's not going to propose until the divorce is finalized, that it just totally blindsided me. I called my boss. I'm like, I'm not coming in tomorrow. I've got friends from out of town, and I wanted to spend some time with them as much as I could, so I did. And that was wonderful. So the proposal was wonderful. It was a huge event. The thing is, with my boyfriend, I knew when it was time, it would be an event, and, fiance. And it absolutely was. I don't know how he pulled it off. I don't know how he pulled it off with as many details and moving parts as there were, and as many people knew, and none of it getting back to me. I was amazed. There was one person that almost blew it, but he recovered very, very well. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure my fiance would have killed him. My son wasn't there for the engagement, which I understand, because I'm not sure he could keep a secret, and I'm not really sure he'd understand all that kind of stuff. But when we picked him up on Friday to keep him, we actually had him all week. I love that. We picked him up on Friday. As soon as we got back to the house, we said, "Hey, just want to let you know, nothing is changing, but this is what's happened," and went with that. And I did have therapy this week, so I talked with my therapist a little bit about how I wanted to handle that with him. His initial reaction wasn't, it was very neutral, but it was very neutral. So, and I told him, I said, well, when we get married, I want you to be there, because I said it's going to be a destination wedding, and I told him where it would be, and he's like, "No, thank you." And I'm like, "Oh, that's not a choice. I'm getting married. My son will be there." So I hope I can convince him that he wants to be there. So we'll see. I'd also like to try and make him part of the wedding if possible. So, but we have time, because before we get a wedding, we need to get a house. In the past couple of weeks, we've been house hunting, and we put an offer on a place that we knew needed a lot of work. The seller came back and said he was willing to fix everything that we'd asked for, which is like $30,000 in repairs, which made everything work. And then came back the next day, which was the day after the proposal, and was like, no, that's not what we agreed to. So we ended up walking away from that house, and we've been looking at houses all week. Looked at some more this weekend with my son. I was very excited because he's going to live there part-time, so I want him to have input. I want him to see. I want him to get excited with us. And after a lot of heartbreak over the past couple of weeks, we actually found one today that we really, really like. And we put an offer in today. So fingers crossed for us that this one works out. I had some opportunities with my Burley Bottom Designs company, talking with a couple of store owners about maybe putting some of my merchandise in stores. So that's exciting. I just have to figure out how I want that to work financially, and what types of products I want to put out there that they could sell and we could all benefit from it. So just got to work on that. But I'm pretty excited about the opportunity, because I really do feel like this could be a thing, a big thing. Maybe as big as like Swish Embassy is my goal, and that would be exciting, or Tea Turtle. That would be exciting. So we'll see. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds? It is Pride Month, and Pride is different this year. It's been different the past couple of years, but this year it feels very, very different, because there's so many ridiculous anti-LGBTQ+, anti-trans, anti-drag bills that are not only making it to, I mean, they're passing. The legislation is passing, and I don't understand legislating hate. I don't. So the tone in the community is very much one of not letting it dim our shine, because if we hide, then the kid who struggles doesn't get to see that it can be okay. Pride is not about, dancing around naked and big ostentatious presentations. That's a big word for me. It is just about letting the kids and even the adults who are terrified to live their truth know that there's a community that loves and supports them, when sometimes their families and their other communities don't and won't. I saw a meme that said, as long as one child feels that it is better to be dead than gay, there will always be need for pride. And I've had my struggles with the idea and the concept of pride parades for years, because I've always thought it was very flashy and showy, and the media always focused on the most outrageous stereotypes in the gay community, and those exist, and those are there, and those are celebrated, because every part of you is something to celebrate. But there's definitely tension in the gay community right now. We're angry. We are ready for a fight. We are ready to throw those bricks again if we need to. But we are very observant of our surroundings. And I hope that any of you non-marginalized groups never have to feel afraid to be yourself. People are like, well, why isn't there a straight pride? Okay, fantastic. We'll have a straight pride once we start taking away your right to marriage and your right to benefits and to exist. Then you can have one. Until then, you don't fucking need one. So there's my 2 cents on that. My fiance mentioned the other day that I've started to become a little vain as I have starting to find myself more and be more comfortable in my body. And I've been working out, so my body is changing, and it looks to me better than it has in a really, really long time. And I don't want to be the vain person, because I told him, like, it's weird that you think I'm vain, because I always have a little bit of self-consciousness in how certain things look on me. And he said a lot of vanity can stem from self-consciousness. So that is something that I'm going to work on, because I don't want to be the vain. I definitely don't want to be vapid. Sometimes I can come off as vapid, and I get that, but I don't want to be that vain narcissist, because that's very much not who I aspire to be. And I was unaware that that was a characteristic that I was holding on to. So definitely something that I need to look into, because that is tied to self-esteem. And if there are self-conscious issues for my body, then that's still tied to self-esteem, and that can make people act vain as a cover-up. So, or a response. There's a word for that. I can't think of it. I can come up with ostentatious, but I can't come up with that. Anyway. So something else for me to work on, which is like, great, one more thing. But that's part of my journey, is always working on myself and trying to find ways to be a better human and the best version of Jordan that I can be. So that's going to be something else I work on. The divorce is still going. The lawyer has been asking me for a whole bunch of paperwork, a ridiculous amount of paperwork. So I've been working to get that for her. I think we are pretty close to having something served to my ex, and I will be very, very blunt. I am terrified when that happens. We've been very amicable with schedules and holidays and adjustments that need to be made where my son is involved. And I fear that when the hammer falls, or when the hammer drops, what's the phrase? I think the hammer drops? When the hammer drops, that those niceties might disappear. So I hope that's not the case. I hope that he understands that, yes, I am forcing his hand, but I have no other choice but to force his hand, especially now. So, and I got my son all week. I'm very excited about that. He did spend last night with Grandma and Grandpa, because initially we only had him for Friday night this weekend. No, we had him for Friday and Saturday night this weekend, but we had an event last night that we had the tickets for. So he spent it with Grandma and Grandpa, which they spoil him so much, and he loves it. They all love it. So it's not like I'm punishing him, like he's thrilled, but I told him, I'm like, in order for us to have you all week long, I gotta have you spend one night with Grandma and Grandpa. So he said, okay. It's like, so we can trade one night with Grandma and Grandpa, which you'll be spoiled and pampered, for a whole week with Papa and future stepdad. Words are weird. Terms are weird right now. So yeah, that is what's going on in my life right now. There's a lot. Work is going well. My FD Designs has been steady and busy, which is nice, because I finally have both my machines working again, with some babysitting and getting some of those patches out. Had a couple of big custom orders, which it was nice, because I was finally able to start putting some money back into savings, because when I was closed for a while for the cruise and having to go to Florida for my sister, I did lose some business. So it was nice to be able to have a couple of really good weeks to repay what I've had to pull from. So yeah, that's it. We put that offer on the house today, so we're very excited about that. Wait and see how that's going to be. Beyond that, it has just been kind of a whirlwind week. People have asked us, like, if we have a date for the wedding and stuff yet, and I'm like, no, house first, then wedding. Especially because we are wanting a destination wedding, and that will take money. So we've got to find a way to save once we get into the house and see what that holds. So it might be a few years, but not in a rush. There are people in my life that I would really like to be there, so I'm not going to wait, too long, because I don't know how much longer some of them have left. My therapist did say, she was like, well, how do you feel about your dad not knowing? I'm like, he might know. I don't care. I don't. Alright, I have stuff I need to get done. I have to go wash the dog. Neither one of us are looking forward to that. But she stinks. She's my stinky little hippie princess because she loves laying around in the grass, but she needs a bath. And then we're going to go see Transformers tonight with my son and my fiance, so that should be fun. Alright guys, I love you, especially those of you that are part of my life and were able to be involved or be aware of the surprise engagement. That was sneaky bitches, but I do love you. So check on your friends and make sure they're doing okay. Check on your loved ones, make sure they're doing okay. And check on yourself. What do you need? Better yet, what do you need to work on? We should always be working on ourselves. We are a project that is never finished, because there's no one that is perfect, and Mary Poppins does not exist. All right. Bye, you guys. I love you, and I will see you next week. Unless something major happens again on Sunday night. But I think that's the big event done for a while. Bye, guys.